Welcome to the Rock is George podcast. I'm your host, George Dionne, and this is episode 93. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube or Apple Music or Spotify or wherever you're listening to the podcast. Special shout out to the loudest.com on the planet, knac.com. My guest for this episode is Serbian vocalist Nevena Djordjevic. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. She has a new album out. It's self-titled on the Frontiers music label. It's simply called Nevena. She teamed up with Swedish producer and musician Michael Palace for her latest album. And she also does some independent stuff on her own. We're going to talk more about it. So here she is, Nevena Djordjevic. If I knew absolutely nothing about Nevena, how would you describe your music to me?
I would say versatile. Well, depends if you're asking about this particular album or overall, the whole music journey. But overall, it's all over the place. It's very confusing.
Well, I did notice that you do sort of have a history of, you have some pop, you have some jazz, you have some theater style music, but this particular album that we're going to be talking about has more of a pop rock feel to it. Would you agree with that?
Exactly. Yeah, it has. I would say pop songs with a rock sound, and rock arrangements. But definitely, yeah, I would say it's pop rock. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And the album is self-titled, Nevena. It came out on December 9th on Frontiers Music, and you teamed up with Swedish musician and producer Michael Palace for this album. How did that pairing come
Yes,
about?
it was great from the very start. Mike is a really pleasant, really kind person and very talented. I had opportunity to hear the song before I decided that I wanted to actually be a part of the project. And then he got to hear me. I recorded a demo before he decided that he wanted me to be a part of the project. So it was mutual agreement. We both wanted it, and it came out pretty well, I think.
Was this project something that Michael was kind of putting out there looking for singers, or was it something different where you were looking for someone to work with yourself?
They were looking. I think Mike was looking. He had his songs ready, but he wasn't sure who would be the great fit for the project. So then my acquaintance from Serbia, for a friend, connected me with them, and I did a little demo with Frontiers, and then they loved it.
Typically with these sort of projects with Frontiers, when they have one of their main label guys doing a lot of the songwriting and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
they pretty much handle everything. Did you get any input on the songwriting, or were you just strictly there to sing it?
I had freedom to do a little bit of vocal arrangements or backing vocal arrangements. In the future, I know that they would like me to join as a songwriter too, and maybe collaborate as a songwriter. But yeah, the songs were pretty much done by the time I was became a part of the project. So Mike did all songwriting and production, and I was just there to sing and have fun. Yeah.
You have two songs out from the album now, Bad Sun Rising and Too Late, and you have music videos that accompany the songs. Did you get to at least produce the videos yourself?
Oh yes, yes. So the videos were produced and done in Serbia when I was on. Yeah, I went this summer because I live in Boston. But I visited, and then it was again their connection, the guy who did the videos. But it's still, yeah, we definitely had our freedom to do whatever we wanted with it, and come up with creative ways to make it happen.
So with this sort of pop rock sound, is this something that you grew up with, that you have influences musically from?
Yes, I do. I mean, I listen to all sorts of music, but obviously, in middle school, mostly I listened to even metal music. I was obsessed with Nightwish. That was my favorite. Well, I did opera at that time too, so it was kind of inspiring. but I even listened to Iron Maiden and Nirvana and Guns N' Roses and different rock and metal bands. So definitely something that I like, and yeah, I think I fit right into it. So the although my voice probably sounds a bit different and than any typical rock singers.
Well, I was gonna say that even though you have sort of this hard rock edge, I hear a lot of theater in your voice. I hear a lot of stage singing there. So I'm assuming you have some sort of theatrical background or experience.
I do, yes, I do. I did start with opera in middle school, and then I was in The Voice in Serbia. So that was kind of pop music. Then I started jazz singing. I was went for college for that, and then I did a little bit of musical theater when I came here to Berkeley. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're originally from Serbia and you've made your way to Boston at Berkeley to do the theater thing. But what else brought you specifically to Berkeley College of Music in the Boston, Massachusetts area?
Well, to be honest, yeah, it wasn't really my plan, and I wasn't thinking about going to the United States at all. I wanted to stay originally in Europe, but at that time, I started dating my best friend, who happened to be at Berkeley already at that time. So, and I already was in college in Serbia, like the only one music college in Belgrade. And he was like, okay, why don't you do an audition and see what happens? And then I visited one day, one summer, I did the audition and it went pretty well. I got a really good scholarship and decided to come and join him. And that's how it went. That's how it started, my journey. Berkeley journey. I didn't regret. It's a great school, and I made some good connections and friends and stayed here after all. So I guess I'm happy with the outcome.
So, do you have any plans to release any more music as singles from the new album?
Yeah, so it's all out. The songs are out, and we only had two singles, or two videos, and then the rest is out now. But I was thinking maybe I could feel free to do some acoustic covers or something like that because I do play piano and I have a little studio set up at home. So I was thinking about something like that, like because my favorite song would be "You Too." I love that one. I like Writer's Block too. Outrageous is also good. So the songs that are not singles, right? I could do something like that, maybe a little acoustic version of it, and oh, we'll see. I'll come up with something.
Do you think that you'll have an opportunity to perform any of this music live? I know a lot of projects from Frontiers just remain in the studio.
That's a good question, and I still don't know. I think it's pretty fresh, and we'll see. I would like to make a concert in Boston for my community and just like people that know me and musicians, and so I might do a little like album release show in Boston
Would be
where I'll
nice.
get to perform, yeah, with my friends, and then there'll be a band and everything. So that will be the first one, I suppose, and then we'll go from there and see if maybe who knows, maybe something happens and we do a few festivals in Europe or such. I mean, the songs are great and catchy, and it's just how many people get a chance to hear it. It's really challenging nowadays, right? With all the social media, it just becomes overwhelming. And then you never get out there, but we'll see.
Boston is certainly the melting pot for music, so there's certainly an audience for it somewhere out
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
This question's kind of a silly question, but it kind of makes sense in the world we're living in today. But did you get to record any of this with Michael in the same room, or was this more of a back and forth kind of recording?
No, no, it was we virtually collaborated. I did all my recordings in Boston area, greater Boston area, with my friend who is a sound engineer. He did it at my friend's studio. So but yeah, we were we would talk every day and discuss. And although, yeah, he never made it to Boston, and I never made it to Sweden. Um,
Everyone's doing it this way anyway.
yeah, it's just now that's our times, just like that.
Now that you have a release with Frontiers Music, have they reached out to you at all on working on other projects? Because a lot of their artists have their hands in different things and they like to pair people together as well.
Not yet, but they probably plan on that. And I did sign a contract for the next, I think, 3 more years or three more album or projects, 3 more projects. So we'll probably have something. And I might write some songs too. I mean, I do write my music, so we'll see.
You've kind of hinted that you might have some other music projects that you're working on outside of this self-titled album on Frontiers. What else are you working on currently?
I do have my some of my original music, but for example, it's very different stylistically, so it wouldn't be under Frontiers label. It's more jazz, country jazz. I don't know. Someone would say even Disney, as you'd say, music theater. So it's yeah, more like personal writing. It's a little bit intimate and very honest writing. Descriptive. So that would just go. I would just do it on my own. I do have some songs that might be a good fit for Frontiers, and we'll see. I have to share it with them, but we'll see what comes next.
I listened to a couple on your website. It's different, a little more
It is
sultry and
different.
romantic. The ones that were in English, and you certainly had some songs that I believe are in your native language.
Oh, yes, true. Yes. And the new one is coming up, which is also slower and just yeah.
You're also founder of a music school. You teach. I assume that you teach all ages at your music school.
Yes, we do.
Was that something that thrived during the lockdowns, or was it kind of? Did you
Yeah,
have to go virtual for
actually,
that?
I didn't hope for it. It did go virtual, but it grew as well because people were looking for hobbies, and had extra time and then just wanted to do music. So we did lots of virtual classes, but it grew since then, and it's pretty good. Yeah, we have now 70, between 70 and 80 students. Yeah,
It's
pretty
called
good.
the Menotti Music School.
Yes, Monody Music School.
Is it
Yeah.
located in Boston?
Watertown, which is just 15 minutes away, greater Boston area.
Does it offer mainly vocal lessons, or do you do everything?
It offers different instruments. For now, main instruments are voice, piano, some guitar students, and then I do songwriting with some students too, but just a few.
And you
Yeah.
yourself are a piano player as well as a singer.
Yes, I mean I teach piano and voice, but I also have teachers that teach that work with me because I certainly cannot have 80 students on my own.
You kind of got your start in music. I mean, you played music as a child as well, but as you were a teenager, you competed in the First Voice of Serbia, which it looks like it was like American Idol here in the United States. So that must have been
Yeah,
kind of
yes. Yeah, that's when I said the voice. It's not really the voice, but it's the similar same idea. Yeah, I was in that. I was 18 at a time. Well, it started before I even turned 18. And then I was there for a year till the very end, actually. It was three of us. I was a super finalist.
did performing on this show kind of help you going forward, at least make connections in the music business to get where you are today? Or is it more of just a TV thing?
I think it really did help. I did gain really good connections in the showbiz in Serbia. It's like really prominent producers, songwriters that are now my friends. And I became well known. I was at that time, I can say, really famous on billboards. Sang in front of 10,000 people and such. So it was overall, I mean, an amazing experience. I met great people that I'm still in contact with, but obviously, there is a limit, and what was promised never happened. Coming from the production, from the label and the TV house, but I still love the experience, and I would do the same thing again. Well, not again to go through it again, but like if I went back in time, I would have chosen the same path.
Have they ever reached out to you to appear on a episode, sort of like as a flashback show, or to mentor the newer ones?
Yes. Yeah, it did happen once. We were for a second season, so we opened the show when there was a second season. We did we did a little tour. So that was nice. But that was it. I mean, some singers from the second season made it, and it just depends how, if make a plan and have a plan before it ends, how you want to scale it up and just stay in it. But I went for school. I was interested in finishing up the college, and I was really young at that time. So I didn't really use it to, stay in business in Serbia, which honestly is not for me. So I'm happy that I chose this over that.
Well, those are all the questions I have for you today, Nevena, and the new album
Great questions, George.
The new album is out now on Frontiers Music. It's self-titled Nevena, and it sounds great, and I wish you the best of luck on it, and I look forward to your future projects.
Thank you very much. Yes. Well, hopefully I talk to you soon again. Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year.
Once again, I want to thank Nevena for coming on the Rock is George podcast. Be sure to check out her latest self-titled debut, Nevena, out now on Frontiers Music. Head over to your favorite music streaming app. Take a listen. If you like what you hear, go out and buy a physical copy. Support the artist. For all things Nevena, head over to nevenamusic.com or her Facebook page, facebook.com/NevenaMusic34. I also want to thank Dustin Hardman of Hardman Promotions and Frontiers Music for making this interview possible. You've been great. I've been George Dionne. I'll see you again soon.